Recording is ready. Okay. We'll just wait until there are more people joining. But we should start in around 1 minute. Just waiting for people to join. Okay, I think we'll start now. Thanks everyone for joining this webinar. Good afternoon, and welcome to the webinar on business models for one-stop shops, lessons learned from the Turnkey Retrofit project. So I'm Margot Barrett, I'm Communications Manager at BPAE, and I'm very happy to welcome you today. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items so that we're making sure everybody knows how to use WebEx. Okay, so on this slide, you should see basically your own screen. To the left is the WebEx viewer, so where you will see the presentation. And to the right is the control panel, where you can use the chat box and the Q&A section as well. So you'll have the opportunity to submit text questions by typing your questions in the Q&A panel of the right side of your screen. And you can send questions at any time during the presentation. We'll collect them and address them during the Q&A session at the end of this webinar. I forgot to mention that the slides and the recording will be available on the Turnkey Retrofit project website tomorrow. We'll also send them by email, so you should have all the material after this webinar in case you cannot join for the full event. Okay, so I'll start by introducing our panel today, which I'm very glad to say that it's an all-women panel. So we have Rachel Demarie, which is from R2M, one of the French Turnkey Retrofit partners. We have Miriam from ANER, which is the Spanish National Association for Renovation. We have Joanna from the Irish Green Building Council. And we have Florian from EP, which is a company based in Nantes, so also part of the French partner of Turnkey Retrofit. We'll then go on the agenda of today. So I'll be starting with a very quick introduction to the Turnkey Retrofit project and the solutions for renovation service. Then Rachel will talk about business models for one-stop shops, so a bit of a bigger view on business models. And then we'll go deeper into the implementation partners, so how the Turnkey Retrofit service was replicated, developed and replicated in France, Spain, and Ireland. And we'll then go to the lessons learned from this replication process, again by Rachel, and we'll finish with a discussion and a Q&A about the whole process. So thanks again for joining. I think I just wanted to mention again that if you have any questions throughout the webinar, just put them in the chat box or the Q&A, and we'll address them at the end. Okay, so I'll start by presenting quickly what Turnkey Retrofit is about. So it's a Horizon 2020 funded project running from 2019 to 2022. So it's good to know that we're at the very end of the project because it finishes basically at the end of February this month. So we are here also to show some of the lessons learned in general from the project. So the project is really about developing a one-stop shop platform through the integration and enrichment of existing services and business models to improve the renovation process for homeowners. So it's a consortium of 9 partners based in Belgium, France, Spain, and Ireland. So the one-stop shop that the project was aimed to develop is called Solutions for Renovation. We have a French version online already. We have a Spanish version as well. And the Irish one is also there, but it's still under development. So the key objectives of the project are to raise homeowners' awareness about renovation issues, improve the services, renovation services with trusted partners, and reduce cost of renovation works. Those are just very basic objectives, and I don't think it really shows the whole project, but we'll go deeper into that. So yeah, it's also about moving from a conventional renovation process to we call it turnkey retrofit process, which should be easier for homeowners. So really focused on the homeowners' needs, feelings in their houses, and simplifying basically the customer journey. So I'll really, I will show you what solution for renovation looks like first. We basically have 3 main tools that I'm going to show you now. So we have this platform, which is available in French, English, and Spanish. And then I will show you another tool, which is also part of this website, which is called Punch Jag, and then the roadmap. So this might look a bit unfamiliar right now, but I'll explain now. So I'll just stop sharing my screen and then share it again. To go. Okay, you should be able to see the homepage of Solutions for Renovation. So I just like
we are still on the slide deck, Margot.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. I'll stop sharing and then share again. Okay, can you tell me if you can see it now? Yeah, yes. Perfect. So this is the English version of Solutions for Renovation. I will go through the different steps, but basically this platform is really about knowing how people feel in their home. So we're really asking them easy questions at the start. So here, tell us what it feels like in your home. So people will just choose what kind of house they have. So if they have a single house, I will click here. And then how can we help them? So they have different choices. Either they really don't know where to start, they don't know how much renovation could cost them, they don't know if they actually need renovation, or they know they already want a global retrofit, or they are planning to do some renovation, but they don't know what exactly, how much money, and what type of renovation. Or they want to get a retrofit assessment. So for this very short demo, I will choose the first option. So the person is here on this website and he or her doesn't know what to do exactly. So the person will start the diagnostic tool, which is called the Punch Jag. And it's really like a sort of quiz. It's basically 10 questions that the person has to fill in. It should not take more than 5 minutes, and they're rather easy questions. So first you click on like problems to solve. So if they have any problems, of course, sometimes they don't, so they might not need this platform. But I'll to just show you how it works, I'll just click on some options. So for example, I have humidity problems, or my energy bills are too high, so you can pick different options. And then what's the temperature at home? Is it cold in winter and hot in summer, or just cold in general? So you have different option again. So I'll pick this one, and then you can complement by clicking on what fits. So I would, for example, choose the first one. And then what's the weather outside? So it really depends on which country you live in. Here I would say that the weather is quite cold in winter and then hot in summer. And then we'll need to, there's a few questions more about the specificity of the house itself. So how are the windows? So either in a deteriorated condition, in an in-between stage, or they're in a rather good stage. So I'll just choose this one here. And then we have the wall insulation. So here I will say that the walls are not insulated, for example. You can also say that you don't know. So you don't really have to fill all the questions if you don't know. That's also good to know. And then you have the roof insulation. Let's say the roof was insulated before 2000. Then you have the basement. You might not have one, so I'll click here. And then the house typology. So you have the different house typology here. Let's say I live in a semi-detached house. And then I have the heating system. So again, you can say whether you're satisfied or not with the heating system, if it works well or not. So I will say I'm not satisfied. And then the ventilation, how does the ventilation work? So let's say here that we don't have any. And then I click on Run Simulation. So here you see then what's the potential of renovation of your house, depending on the answers that you gave. So in terms of energy saving, thermal comfort, acoustic comfort, and indoor air quality. So from here, we have another tool. Basically, if people see they have a high potential for renovation, they might want to see what they can actually do with that. So here we have a few buttons. Unfortunately, as I said, there are still a few things that are under development. But basically, we have another, a tool that's called Roadmap. And the roadmap is to really understand what step you can take for your renovation. So I will go there. Normally it should be connected, but right now it's not yet connected to solutions for renovation. But so here it's really about going a bit more in detail, and also to get some estimations of the costs for renovation depending on what they actually want to do. So I will, here the user has to again give some information about his or her house. So this tool is still under development. So there are still a few blank buttons, let's say. So we cannot choose all of them. So I have to click on what's available right now, but the objective is really to see how the tool works. So you also have to fill in the living area. So let's say, I don't know, 20 square living area. Next. And then here we arrive on the renovation actions, depending on what you've filled in before. So you have three different packages. Either you have the basic one, the intermediate one, and the advanced one. And all the ticked buttons are the suggestion from this tool, the suggestion of renovation that you can actually take on to renovate the house. And then this is really important because, so this, as I mentioned, this is the Irish version, the English one. It's linked to the BER, Building Energy Ratings. So it will say what's the current rating, sorry. And then depending on the different package, it will say if you take the basic, for example, you can move to B2 and then intermediate A1. So, and then, so we have this information, but then if we scroll down, we also have the estimation of renovation costs. So depending on which package you would like to choose, the grants available, and then we also have below the improvements after 5 years following either of those packages. So either if you choose the basic one, then you'll get this amount of energy savings. I just wanted to mention that this is a bit overestimated, and we are also working on this. You also get the CO2 savings, also the CO2 you saved from doing that renovations, if you, for example, if you choose the basic one. And then you have the numbers for the other packages. And I just also wanted to mention here that you can, if you want to change this plan and you're not happy with it, you can click on I want to do my own renovation plan, and then it's a bit more in detail. So you can choose package 1, that will be today, package 2 in 4 years, for example, and then in 5 years. So, and then you can pick what you could do now, what you could do in 4 years, and what you could do in 5 years. I'm just really picking random stuff here. Let's pick this one. And then we click on run. And then it calculates, again, the estimations. So for today, in 4 years, 5 years, it says that your strategy can be improved. So I have to say it's a lot of playing around, and you don't have to like go through all those stages. You can just stay on the first packages that it suggests at the start. But then also what is really important to know is that at the end, this tool is really about making the user contact a professional for renovation. So we have here the possibility of booking an assessment with a renovation advisor, which is also available here. So this is about it for my presentation. It was a bit long, and it might be a bit unclear right now. I know my colleague put the link to the roadmap and to the punch deck and to solutions for renovation in the chat box. So if you want to have a look by yourself, please do so. We have actually a short survey that you don't really have to fill in now, but I'll share with you the code here. Just 1 minute until Okay, so my presentation was very brief and there was a lot of information, so I might not be able to answer this now, but you have the links. So if you want to look further, I invite you to answer this very quick survey. Should be about 3 minutes to fill in. And if you need more information or want to get in touch, you can get in touch with here with this address email. So yeah, I won't talk any longer now. That was already a bit long. And I will give the floor to Rachel, who will give an overview of business models for one-stop shops. Hi, Rachel, the floor is.
Yeah, hello, thank you, Margot. So yes, indeed, I will talk about business model aspects around one-stop shop. So we will go back a bit in the story of the construction of the tool. So in the next slide, we can have Margot, if you can change the slide. Yes, thank you. So here it's just to present you what is the added value of the one-stop shop. It's really to help the homeowner to make the best decision that will lead to an optimal renovation project. And for that, it's really a challenge to have a clear understanding of the house owner needs in the local context. So that's the basics of the starting point of constructing a business model around one-stop shop. And what we found on the next slide is that integrated home renovation services providing through one-stop shop have existing in Europe for more than 10 years. But actually the current knowledge about the business structure is still quite limited. So in this presentation, we will share all the knowledge we have seen in our literature review or we have developed within the consortium. So it's generic information around business model and on one-stop shop. And before starting, just talking again about the added value of the one-stop shop, and here the advantage and disadvantage of one-stop shop. So the advantage of a one-stop shop is to offer a turnkey solution to the client. So everything is packed, and also to have a better communication and knowledge sharing, and to enhance the potential of energy saving and to minimize the risk or error in the process. And the disadvantage, it could lead to a reduction of flexibility and a reduction of available options of renovation. And within the platform, between all the contractors, you could also have some potential conflict of interest. Or maybe a project bias due to a single point of contact. So that's the advantage and disadvantage and the overall added value of one-stop shop. And now we will enter to the business model aspects with three big categories. So who, how, and what. And to start with, so we start with this who question. So who leads one-stop shop here today in Europe? So we have found that there is 5 categories of a one-stop shop according to the role play by different actors. So either it's industry-driven one-stop shop where manufacturer and installer aim to extend their businesses. Or it could be consultant-driven when they develop customer-related business model. It could also be energy services company driven, where they extend the value added solution. One of the one-stop shop is also a local or government driven one-stop shop, where the programs are generally climate or energy related with some incentives and so on. or it could also be a cooperative type where the aim is the social benefit beyond energy or cost saving. So here you have a mapping that I've been elaborating in the benchmark of promising experience of integrating renovation services developed by the Turnkey Retrofit project in 2019. So the full deliverable is available. So if you want to dig deeper in this deliverable, you can have a look at it. So in the next slide, it's more on what is done by the one-stop shop. There is different kind of one-stop shop from the owner point of view, and now from the the tasks that are done. And here is some knowledge extract from the European project Innovate. So sorry, I share the link on the other slide. So here there is four big category. So the first one is a facilitation model. So the facilitation one-stop shop is to raise awareness on energy renovation benefits, to provide general information on optimal renovation works, and to give first advice at the orientation stage. The second one is a coordination model. So it's to coordinate the existing actors, contractors and suppliers, and to make sure all one-stop shop services are offered to homeowner in a single place. But this kind of one-stop shop do not take responsibility for the result of renovation work and do not take responsibility for the overall customer journey. Whereas the all-inclusive model, so the third one, offers this full package renovation to the homeowners, but on top of that, it bears a responsibility for the result of the renovation works and the customer, the overall customer journey. So it's a big difference when you think about developing a business model around one-stop shop, to have this in mind, to know the limit of what could be done. And the last one is the Esco type models. We have already seen this type on the last slide. So it offers a full renovation package with guarantee energy saving to homeowners, and it also be a responsibility for the result and for the overall customer journey. So that's the four models developed by this Innovate project. And in the next slide, we have a very detailed table in one of their deliverables, explaining in each task what is done by each kind of one-stop shop. And for us, Turnkey Retrofit, it really helps us to understand what we want to do and to know where we were fitting and to understand the limit and the expectation of our project. So we won't go through all the lines of this table, but really it's a very added value deliverable. So if you want to go have a look, it's very important. And now in the next slide, we'll talk. So we talk about the who, the what, and now the how. So how the business model are done. And also, one-stop shop are called multi-sided platform. So multi-sided platform means that it brings together two or more different group of customers. So here, craftsmen and building owners. And such platform are of value to one group of customers only if the other group of customers are also present on the platform. So really the tricky point here is to populate the platform by both type of group. So the key is to attract to the platform and serve all groups simultaneously. So usually this kind of multi-sided platform solves this dilemma by subsidizing one of the customer segments. So by giving low cost or free services to attract them on the platform. So to do that, it's very, very important to understand who should be subsidized and how to price correctly. Because if you don't understand where your added value lie and how much you can charge for this added value, no one will be on the platform, and it will be very difficult to have an efficient one-stop shop like this. On the next slide, we see, I'm sure you know this model, the business model canvas. And here it pinpoint the key aspects of one-stop shop and multi-sided platform for some category of this business model Canva. So for the key activities of the platform, so yeah, it's a platform management, service provisioning, and also platform promotion. So as I said, to populate the platform. So the expense linked to this platform is maintaining, the developing, and supporting the platform. So supporting the commercial development of the platform. The added value, the value proposition, so it creates value first by attracting user. Second, to match two groups of users, so here building owners and contractors. And third, maybe reducing cost by channeling transactions for this platform. So that's the value proposition of the one-stop shop. And yeah, the incomes is by choosing which segment to subsidize can be a crucial pricing decision. So it's again what I said. So that's the business model Canva. In the other slide, we see the typical presentation of the business model Canva. So Margot, if you can switch slide. So here, I will not repeat myself, but yeah, you can have this multi-sided platform, typical canvas, and the sources here is value proposition design. It's a book from Statesizer. Also nice book to read when you want to develop business model. And on the next slide is the same information, but presenting in another way, in another kind of concept. The Rocket Model platform, so Turnkey Retrofit, we could also say that it adopts a Rocket Model platform with this side A and side B a group of customers. So side E is the consumer or the homeowner of single housing or multifamily buildings, and side B, the producer or the contractors. So the first task is to attract them. To acquire new active customer and producer, the main goal is reaching the critical mass and having enough user on each side. In the next slide, we see that the quality of the matching between homeowners and contractors. You know, it's very important to know how you will select your contractors and with efficient criteria to the match between offer and request. So then is to connect between both sides before the transaction, after the transaction. And this is the heart of a one-stop shop, the payment of the platform. And then to optimize when the platform is mature enough, it's the last stage. So optimize the interaction between both sides. So yeah, that's the generic information that we use to develop our positionment on the Turnkey Retrofit project. And on the next slide, we will see that for the implementation context, we have three very different and very interesting use cases. Because in France, Spain, and Ireland, it's very different context. Indeed, in France, we developed this turnkey retrofit services and bricks that Margot showed you at the beginning, the punch tag and the roadmap, with a private partner that was already running a one-stop shop. So it was just bricks that was added to this one-stop shop. In Spain, it's different. It's with a national one association who is running a non-digitalized integrated renovation services. And in Ireland, it's also with the National Association, but for the moment, does not offer renovation services, but have a huge network in the renovation area. So it's three implementation contexts that you have to have in mind when they will present you their own experience. And if you have questions on this generic presentation, I will happy to answer at the end of the presentation. And I leave the floor to Florian from EP, so the case of France. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Yes, so I will present you the Turnkey Retrofit service in France. So EP is a French startup located in Nantes in France. And we are working on the energy retrofit subject for 15 years now. And we basically develop digital platforms about buildings. And for that, we use a lot of data to develop those platforms and to do the best customer journey we can for homeowners and for contractors. Before Turnkey Retrofit project, we had a platform for homeowners. It was called Mon Carnet by EP. You can see the homepage right now. I'm sorry, it's in French, obviously. The main business model of this platform was to connect homeowners who want to work with contractors, and those contractors paid us a commission. On the next slide, so the context in France is the following. There is no retrofit market leader, not really a leader. Our business model was not very profitable. We try to sell contacts to contractors, but to do that, we need to sell a lot of contact to be profitable. So we needed a lot of visitors on our websites, but we didn't want to sell not qualified contacts. So to qualify a contact, it costs a lot of money because we have to call them back. And we didn't want that the contractors have to give a quote to a huge amount of leads just to sign one quote. It takes time, so it's very expensive. Also, the baseline on our website was too technical and not very adapted for the homeowner audience. So the main goals on the next slide for us was to increase organic traffic, change this baseline and focus more on subsidies and well-being, and respond to the homeowners' concerns. So I will explain in the next slide the customer journey we have. So we develop within Turnkey Retrofit project two websites. So the first one is the website Solution for Renovation, which is the main website of the Turnkey Retrofit project. And then we have Hero platform developed by EP, and this website it's directly managed by us and our society. I focused a little bit more on the next slide, just to show you the interaction between the two. So we focused more on the single houses because it's our main target. So on the left side, So you can see we have the single houses, and you have 4 main gates. The 4 main gates, so the first one is when you don't know where to start, which leads you to PunchJag, and PunchJag can go, you can, something. From PunchJag you can go to Hero directly. The second one is if you just want to reduce your energy bill. The third one, if you want to know how much does it cost, and the last one, if you just want to find the contractors. So all those gates redirect directly to Hero, and in purple you can see what we improved during the Turnkey Retrofit project. In Hero, we have 2 more services, which is SmartJag, but it was developed before the project. SmartJag is a diagnosis you can do online, and the homeowner can know what is the score of their house from 1 to 10, and after that they have like a roadmap where we explain us what they can do or they cannot do, and in which order. For example, the first works you have to do, it's the insulation, and after that change your boiler, for example. The second tool we have is Cost of Works, is a tool that estimates the amount of the works. It's just a price range, just to give you some information, because it's not the final quote. The user can subscribe on Hero if they want to take an appointment with an advisor. So it's very important to understand that it's not only, of course, a digital platform, but we also have people who answer questions on the phone, because homeowners can have a lot of concerns, and if you want your platform to be trusted, I think it's good to still have human contact. All those tools, the main interest for us is to promote at the end subsidies. Because we give information to the homeowners, but at the end, what we want us to do is to contract subsidies with us. And I'll explain because it's our business model. In the next slide, you can see the Hero platform. So in the first home page I showed you before, so about Mon Carnet, it was very not the same baseline. Here, the baseline focused, it's what is written, focus more on subsidies and the remaining cost between the estimation cost we can do on Cost of Works and the subsidies at the end. It's what you can see on this home page. And like I said before, the baseline was too technical, but now it's more focused on subsidies. And the main concerns of homeowners today is save money when they want to do some works, and how they can pay less. So now to focus more on the business model. Yes, yeah, thank you. Our business model is have a good balance between the acquisition cost and the transformation cost, with the final remuneration. So first of all, the acquisition cost. In the next slide. So basically, we still need to have a lot of visitors on our websites. So we have to increase the traffic. And we think the best way is to increase organic traffic with a lot of contents on the websites. We did a huge job to put a lot of contents, to give a lot of information about renovation, to help homeowners find what they want, and then to contract subsidies at the end with us. Here you can find just some example of some pages we have on our websites. It can be on everything, some subject very specific, like the heating pollutions on your house, but it can be also on installation energy credits, or it can be on some news. So, for example, in France, we have a new website which is called France Rénov 2022, a new website from the public government. So thanks to this content, we managed to increase our organic traffic. The organic traffic is traffic based on the Google research, sorry. So when someone tried to find some information about renovation, our goal is to be in the first results at the end, and that the algorithm from Google put our websites on the top, and we don't pay for the people to click on our websites. And about the remuneration, in the next slide. Margot, if you can go to the next slide. Margot, do you hear me?
Sorry, it seems like we lost the connection. I'll just share my screen again. Sorry for that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so yes, on the next slide. Thank you. So our remuneration for the service in France is basically based on energy credits or white certificates. So this is a subsidies. This is a private subsidies we have in France. I think it's more or less developed in other countries, but in France it's a private subsidy very useful to have some to pay your works. So the subsidies are paid by energy suppliers, so it's private, and the energy suppliers must promote energy retrofit. They have to do that, and they have to prove that they help homeowners to start their renovation. And our platform helps the energy suppliers, helps them find those projects. So basically, it's the energy suppliers that pay us at the end. So our service is free for homeowners, and we find this other way to be paid. So the potential evolution of the service, we have two for now, and we have some other, but maybe next year. We want to update the customer journey on some key points. After, I can say, 6 months, we do know where we can reduce some interactions. We still want that someone call back all the homeowners on the platform, but we want to reduce those interactions in order for us to be more profitable at the end. So, for example, some projects are going to be cancelled, works are not going to be done. So we want to clean our database. We have to clean our database every month. That's what we want to improve. And we also want to diversify the offer. So for now, it's only for a single family building houses, but we want to open the services for, why not, multi-family buildings, for example. Also, we want that Hero become a platform for financing, the energy renovations from both private and public subsidies. And why not the bank financing at the end? Because, like I said, we promote the energy credits from energy suppliers, but now we want to promote also the subsidies from the governments. For example, in France, it's called Ma Prime Rénov', which is a subsidies paid by the government. So we think that's the best way to improve renovation in France is to have just one place when you can find both private and public subsidies, and after that bank financing. So that's it for me for the French part.
Thank you, Florian. I will now pass the virtual mic to Miriam, who will share the Spanish overview of Turnkey. I'll just mention that we're a bit behind in terms of time, so Miriam, you could try to try to make it as short as possible. Thanks.
I wasn't it because we are very hurry on time. So go ahead. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Just explain, ANER, as Margot explained, is a National Association for Building Renovation and Refurbishment, Rehabilitation. And this is the 10th anniversary of the association. So a long time in the market. And who is involved? There are members that are specialized companies. It's the only national association with all the main companies in the market. Specialized professional, of course, engineering, architects, and all kind of services necessary around the world. Some are included in these companies, others are not. And of course, manufacturers and technology who are involved in renovation process, and of course, finance and insurance companies. And before the project, we have always focusing on B2B business. The net and the lobby is very important in the association. We are always the SDG 17 with making things happen, just connecting policymakers. The association have been always involved with MIDMA and MITECORA in the main ministry of industry and in charge of renovation on this kind of climate and a lot of things. So they are ANER is the way where they go to contractors to ask for what they need and how to do policies. So it's important. And also ANER is located in a green office for the local government where they connect with building managers and neighborhood associations. So go ahead. The main value for ANER, this 10 euros, is they give a quality certificate to the companies involved in the association. So they have special warranty and is recognized in the market and by the government. This time, Reformaner is the other website. It's a website, a service, a private service, only focused on B2B services for associate companies. And for final client, Reformaner had a blog with main information. Go ahead. ANER have a media, a website with more than 35 of users last year, in the whole year, a newsletter and a magazine made in purple and digital both, and it's very important in events because ANER is in the board, is the board member of IFEMA, that is the main sectorial activity events, Construtec, Genera, Rehabilitar Verde. So ANER is involved in the main events in the country, national and local and regional. Go. About Spain, just an overview that we have a great opportunity because Spain is renovating on the day-to-day 0.8% per year in total number of existing buildings. So it's increased in a very big size. So this is the challenge. The other point is more than 80% of existing building needs to be renovated in the next 2 to 5 years. So this is the opportunity in the market and a need really to reach the better environment and the climate goals. So the opportunity is real because a lot of money is coming from renovation funds from Europe. And in this case, Spain is the paradigm of multifamily models of drilling because it's the most important and the most to be renovated. Go ahead. So in the renovation service, there are 2 key points because we are talking about multifamily. I put a kind of joke in the image, and the manager of the building. This is a horizontal property law who is having changed recently to make easier negotiation. A lot of that from the government should be managed by communities, and the process is not easy and complex. Regulation now a work in progress. We have not a weight certificate and other things like France, but it's a work in progress. And the personal economic status of the people owning the same building can be quite different. So this is our main barriers. Come on, let's go. So the new Reformaner involved with Turnkey Retrofit became in support the B2B business they have had these 10 years and include the B2C and also B2 government. It can be a B2 government, but now increases in terms of not because we made a lot of money with the government, but government use us as a disseminator tool. And this is important for them because the lobby and the contact between all the partners in this ecosystem. So the homeowner and the building manager have the great opportunity, and the government needs to tell them or to improve how to use it and make it happen. Let's go. Margot? So the ecosystem, okay. Let me go through this just very quick because in the ecosystem we have new owners, building managers, specialized companies and professional, and also manufacturers who are showing the technology. Also the people are the building managers and the specialized companies who made works. We have also involved a lot of private companies in terms of finance and insurance, only with specialized products for this area. We have worked together with them to develop and improve this kind of services. And we have the presence of 2 offices that give service to the final clients. The citizen can go there, take information about everything, even help from government and how you can get money to make your works, combining IT and the private money. Go ahead. So the business model, who is paying and how it works, to be very quick, for customers, for the final owner or the manager of the building, this is free. We try to pay the manager of the building that they are people in charge of all the work. They access to a personal profile. They have 3 budgets from certificate companies. They have a lot of extra services like kind of certificate or other information. They can control the total process and is supported by grant and financing. You have a line of journey here to make it simple in the tool. Is the moment on need a brief. Of course, there are a big team professionals that phone people. You ask in the tool, of course, but when you have played with the tools you have seen before, the pumps and the roadmap, the Spanish one, then you need the final briefing. So someone call people, yes, to get the opportunity. Then the final client have 3 budget with the same briefing. So this is harmonize the budget, so it's easier to get a choice, so get a better choice. The works begin, and they are all of them can be followed in the platform. And a great point is you have all the documentation upload there available for every partner. So we expect the process will be very happy for all of them. In refer to the ratios presentation in the beginning, we are in between the model 2 and 3. It's a coordination model, but we control, or we try to control the whole process. Companies pay, but the big money between contracts are changing between the final client and the companies in charge of works. Go ahead. Okay, also we have, you see a small map. This is the tool, the screen when you can choose your location, and then you have all aids and subsidies you can get from government. Go ahead. Click one time because we have okay. For the companies and specialized people, they pay for a member cost and paperwork. There are a kind of different rank. You pay different amounts. They can access to feed and bigot projects. They can control the whole process. Here you can see the list of the works for every company in their own profile, and you have a kind of the small one screenshot is a documentary repository online that is great to control a project, because you have all kind of certificate on all the documentation you need along the whole project for the client, for the building manager, for the professional, and for the company in charge of work. So it's a great value for all of them, for the whole ecosystem. We support grant and financing because some companies in charge of work, they haven't. And we are working on a satisfaction ranking where companies can be available for clients. Okay, go. Okay, the third support is the manufacturers, the finance company, and of course the government, because we give a lot of visibility. We will working in contextual ads for homeowners. They can explain technology, the final user, and even the companies in charge of work, because technology is working very fast. Sometimes it's not clear, and a lot of information is necessary for all of the partners in this ecosystem. They can get new collaboration for prescription and special agreement, special offers, and take part in big projects, have community of energy or these kind of things. And of course, direct connection will building managers to improve their business. So go. So we are finishing the new Reform and Air for All. We call this one-stop shop with the full process guidance. You can go through all of them and understand quickly in which step you are, because the company in the tool can put all the steps that have been followed and the time that you will take. The document, it makes transparent the process. As I say, the document repository and shared database is absolutely key. Every partner has personalized profiles with their own information, including manager and grant and financing. You can manage in the same time aids from government and also the rest of the money you need. So it's easier in one place. it's very personalized for property administration with a lot of kind of services. So clients have the great guarantee, and also with these tools, the administrators of the property, or the managers of the building, can have a kind of interaction with the final owner, and it's easier for them negotiate the works to be done in a community. And the main thing is you have a professional, a team of professionals with more than 10 years of experience improving this project. Next step, we are looking for money to continue the developing of the project. We have a beta online you can go through, it's reformaner.com. And then focus on everything is working now. We have to improve the user experience and improve a better connection, because it's a beta is an iterative process that will be increasing and going better and better. So I think it's almost finished.
Yes, thanks, Miriam. Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that if you have any questions, I hope we'll have the time to answer them during the Q&A, so feel free to send your questions. I'd like now to invite Joanna, who will present the Irish experience of Turnkey Retrofit.
Okay, you can hear me, obviously. Hi, I'm Johanna Vargas. Can I have the next slide, please? We are the Irish Green Building Council, a not-for-profit and a membership organization with about 250 members now. And we work with organizations and businesses from the entire value chain of the construction and building sector. And all of us are united in accelerating the transition to a sustainable built environment. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm just going to cover the context, what is ours to do as the IGBC, the transferables from the Turnkey Retrofit project, our future plans, the business models, and lessons learned. Next slide, please. So our climate action plan has very ambitious targets for 500,000 homes to be retrofitted by 2030. A total of 18,400 home retrofits were completed in 2020. However, only 4,000 were to a B2 standard. And another aspect of this is many types of one-stop shops exist in Ireland. They are contractor-led, material supplier-led, engineer-led, partnerships between financial institutions, partnerships between energy companies and renovation advisors, and contractors or engineers. So there's so many, they originate in different ways. And a core element of the retrofit plan in the climate action plan is the development of a network of registered one-stop shops to simplify the customer journey. Next slide, please. Okay, so again, from the climate action plan, it states, what the challenges of the homeowner are in Ireland. And they range from a lack of awareness of what retrofit is and the multiple benefits, a lack of familiarity with some of the technologies. Homeowners are often being overwhelmed by the complexity and affordability and high upfront cost of works, and basically the hassle throughout the retrofit because the grant application is quite complex, right through to minding each worker as they come in and finish their work. Next slide, please. So that leads us to the question of, so what does the customer need? So just on a kind of strategic level, it seems like one dedicated place would be very good, where homeowners could just find out anything they want to know about retrofit, information, services, all just in one place. And then, a better deal, giving customers a better deal in payments of retrofit, so one way is to think about how to digitize and aggregate works to scale it up. And then also it would be very good if customers had a record of what work has already been done to prevent lock-in effects, redundancy, waste, and also, waste in expenditure. Then for a very good customer journey, the customer needs to be protected by having options, impartial advice, quality assurance, and of course, they should be armed with knowledge. And also, the customer needs very clear idea of, what their options are on financial offers, how to compare those, what loans are available, exactly what grant information is available, and are they eligible, and also a very good question and answer sort of section so they can ask any question they want. Next slide, please. So for us, what should IGBC do as a nonprofit organization? So for us, we decided that in this project, a very important thing for us to do is to get the customer renovation ready and to provide clear information for the new customer, really talking about the early customer to retrofit. Just help them to understand why to do it in the first place, explain the differences in the many types of one-stop shops that already exist, and they can book their always trying to get them to head towards booking an assessment, and also using the digital tools so they can try it out in their own time. And one important thing is to actually ensure the customer has a good user experience. Next slide, please. So the turnkey transferables, we'll definitely be using the digital tools, which is the punch and the roadmap. And we're just in the first stages of doing our Irish platform called Renovation Hub. And you can see the top, the menu bar at the top. Get started will get you onto those tools. And that's just an idea of how it will look like on our platform. Next slide, please. And the future plans we have is, apart from growing it as an information and knowledge hub, we'd like to work with others to create a national dashboard with real-time information on the number of retrofits and assessments all over the country. So, everybody is interested in what's happening in the whole country. And next slide, please. And other plans we have, but of course it includes us working with other people. We are actually on our prototype platform creating a booking system for renovation advisors and customers. We'd also like to develop a renovation advisor list to connect and also connect the customer to a building renovation passport. We're also looking at what kind of warranty systems can customers have after the works get done. And also, once you digitize, you have a digital platform and you have people putting in what they want in their works and it's in a renovation passport, then it could be quite easy if you know the location and what they want to do to sort of start to aggregate it digitally, and then you can create bundles for renovation contractors. So I guess one question which is coming up for us is, if we created a system that was easier for people to use and operate, would that increase the number of retrofits? Next slide, please. So when we're thinking about business models, it's definitely a multi-sided platform when it gets going. It's got some freemium part to it. A very important focus for Irish Green Building Council is that it should be a public good resource service. Definitely in terms of models, it's a facilitation model. And in that facilitation model, there will be transaction points to decide what can be charged for. And alternatively, we could also license the tools to one-stop shops if this doesn't work. And next slide, please. So our lessons learned. The first one is we networked a lot with local authorities, semi-state agencies to just find out where we can land this. The Turnkey Retrofit kicked off with local implementation group as a thing we had to do. And we've grown that to include many, many wonderful contributors who give their support very generously. The next one is get a mentor. So IGBC, we've been very lucky to find mentors experienced in SaaS, software as a service, and also people from the financial sector who we got from the local implementation group. And we always just call them and ask them advice, what should we do next? And, on things that we are not used to. Another lesson we learned is that digital tools take a lot longer to develop and require a lot of caretaking. For example, we inserted the prices in the roadmap tool in April 2021, and most of the materials have increased in costs between 20 to 100% now. The other thing we've also learned is that, with 500,000 homes to be retrofitted, it's a really huge market, and there is space for many, and it can accommodate multiple service offerings. So, when people sometimes see what we're doing, they feel that we're in competition, but we're not really in competition. There is space for everyone. And then another one is what we've interviewed a lot of people about what we're doing and the tools. So we've received very good feedback on the tools. It ranges from absolutely fantastic, very good step as the first step for the new customer. And a lot of contractors feel it's a very good broad brush tool to give their customers so they don't have to spend time going to visit and spend 2 hours with the customer. We did get some not very good feedback, and it was something to do with how the execution was a little bit clunky, but the concept was good. And the final one is it's about marketing, and we really have to make retrofit sexy. And one contractor told me that people are very happy to say, "Oh, would you like to see my new kitchen?" but not, "Would you like to see my new attic installation?" So we just need to think about that, how we make it really something people want to show off about. And there has to be a huge national campaign and to drive people to know that retrofit is coming soon to your home. Thank you.
Joanna. So we're moving towards the end of the webinar, but we still have a presentation from Rachel about the lessons learned from the replication process in France, Spain, and Ireland. So Rachel, if you are ready,
Yes.
I'll pass the mic to you. Thank you.
Yes, I will try to be very brief. So the lesson learned from this early replication process from an aspect of business model aspects. So at the very beginning, we were at the replication of one-stop shop at the large scale. We want to replicate one-stop shop, the entire customer journey. But now we think it's more valuable to replicate only some bricks to be plugged on existing one-stop shop or added to other services for private entity that could need this kind of very easy tool to use that Margot showed you, the punch jag and the roadmap to evaluate the renovations that need to be done. So that's the positioning of our replication strategy. That means that in terms of targets, in the next slide, we see that at the beginning, we were targeting countries without one-stop shop or with high demand. And now we are most focused on countries with one-stop shop or with global renovation companies. So that's just to settle our replication context. And on the following slide, I will present some generic conclusion that was already shared with the 3 presentations you just heard. But yeah, in a synthetic way, here the first point in a business model aspect, Canva. is create partnership. So with who you want to create your one-stop shop. And the choice of the local entity and the network of this local entity have been really crucial for the development and implementation of one-stop shop. You know, you're kind of really built a partnership. On the next slide, we see that an important aspect to see is to find a way to impulse the business. So indeed, we found that the offer of integrated home energy renovation remains very rare. And if such an offer exists, it depends, at least partly, on public subsidies. So they are crucial, especially at the startup of the phase of the one-stop shop. So, for example, we see that in France, it's based on white certificate now with Hero. It was not the case early with Moncarnet. It was not more, not the case with Moncarnet by BP. And we also see that new opportunity was created in Spain that now they can envision that the creation also of white certificates on public incentive links to their renovation one-stop shop, integrating renovation services. And indeed, without this leverage, it's difficult to have a balanced business model on those aspects. So that's the first conclusion that we could share with you. The next slide. Marco, if you can go to the next slide, please. Okay, thank you. So one important aspect already mentioned deeper by Florian, but is to know the cost of to attract customers. You know, in this slide on the business model canvas of multi-sided platform, in the expenses, so okay, there is maintaining, developing, but the important cost to know is supporting the platform. And the cost to support the commercial development of the platform, so the lead generation, are different from one country to another. So, for example, the cost of Google word acquisition or the cost of media or the cost are a question to ask yourself and are different for each country. So actions that have been tested here in the Turnkey Retrofit project or by the other partner, Google Ads campaign or classic media or natural referencement. And something to have in mind also when you want to communicate, what is the difference between communicating in rural versus urban area. There is not the same topic. And if you want to know more on the way to attract customers, and this is really an important point to ask yourself on the next slide. There is this synthesis tables that have been developed in the deliverable 4.1 of the Turnkey Retrofit project. First lessons learned from the Turnkey Retrofit early replication. And here we have this list of different kind of way to attract customers, so direct marketing, social marketing, awareness raising, our websites, and we provide some generic advices and a way to optimize our strategy if we want to replicate in other country. So yeah, I prefer to leave some time to questions. So yeah, I want you to go to read this report if you are curious in more details to go deeply on those aspects. And the last feedback that we can share with you on the next slide, Margot, is to keep in mind that one-stop shop needs a long time to be on the market. Based on practical experience, on the market feedback, show that one-stop shop needs at least 5 to 8 years to close the existing market gaps and make its business model financially viable and self-sufficient. And that's an important point to have in mind, and that's why we think that the Turnkey Retrofit project bricks that we have developed are very interesting, because we could share our bricks with other existing one-stop shop on existing aspects that we found are very crucial to attract customers. So the punch diag is very friendly, user-friendly and easy to use. And okay, that's why we developed those bricks at early stage. We already have done this market analysis. And yeah, we think that could help other one-stop shop to gain some time and to have some added value to their existing one-stop shop. So that's the idea, the first idea we have on and feedback we can share with you on the replication process. And at the end of my presentation, and we will be happy to have some questions now. We have a bit of time. Margot, I don't know if you have a closing remark before.
Yeah, just a final slide. But thanks for the presentation. I think it really shows well also how we are looking to continue the project in different ways. I think we had some questions, but most of them were answered in the chat box. But if you have very immediate question, just let me know and you can put them in the chat. Otherwise, we are almost at the end. We are 3 minutes close to the end of the webinar. So I would like to thank all of you. I'm taking the opportunity actually of this webinar to mention the final conference that we're organizing on the 22nd of February, so quite soon. Registration is open. I think we can put the link in the chat as well. I'm just checking if we don't have any more questions. But if not, thanks a lot everyone for joining. I also wanted to remind you that the slides and the recording will be available on the Turnkey Retrofit website, and we will also send it to you in an email. So that's all for me. Thanks again and have a nice rest of the day. Goodbye, everyone.